Let's shift focus over to the future of humanity. The creator of advanced chatbot ChatGPT has called on US lawmakers to regulate artificial intelligence. Now, the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, Sam Altman, has testified before a US Senate committee about the possibilities and pitfalls of the new technology. He said that a new agency should be formed to license AI companies. ChatGPT and other similar programs can create incredibly human-like answers to questions, but can also be wildly inaccurate. Now, the swift growth of artificial intelligence technology could put the future of humanity at risk. Could AI single-handedly decide the course of our history? Most Americans believe so, and which is where I come to the crux of today's story. According to a survey by Reuters Ipsos, more than two-thirds of Americans are concerned about the negative effects of AI. In fact, 61% of Americans believe AI could threaten civilization and the future of humanity. And according to Elon Musk, there's some chance that AI might go wrong and destroy humanity. Let's listen in to what Sam Altman has to say with regards to AI, even Elon Musk.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think that could happen in a lot of different ways. It's why we started the company. It's a big part of why I'm here today and why we've been here in the past and we've been able to spend some time with you. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong. And we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening. But we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to do to mitigate that.
The advent of artificial general intelligence is called a singularity because it is so hard to predict what will happen after that. I think it's very much a double-edged sword. I think there's a strong probability that it will make life much better and that we'll have an age of abundance. And there's some chance that it goes wrong and destroys humanity. Hopefully that chance is small, but it's not zero.
All right, let's try and weigh in on the risks and advantages of AI and what that could mean for the future of humanity. And for that, let me introduce my guest today. I'm joined in by Sultan Meghji, who is a professor and with special focus on artificial intelligence at the Duke University. Many thanks to you, Sultan, for joining in. You heard what Altman and Elon Musk had to say. As tech honchos, when they make such statements, first of all, I'd like to know, how do you assess what they had to say?
Well, it was exciting and reassuring, I think, to hear Sam Altman talk about the need for some degree of regulatory action by the U.S. government. You know, the European Union has just made a first step at AI regulation, and it's a fairly aggressively anti-AI piece of regulation. I think the United States has an opportunity to do something a little more nuanced and a little more interesting that balances more thoughtfully the innovation opportunities that AI brings along with managing the risks. You know, there's a big difference between artificial and general intelligence and what currently exists, or what's even on the near-term roadmap over the next decade or so from organizations like OpenAI. I think Elon Musk is causing a little bit of stress in the world that we're not very close to. AGI is not something that we're going to have for years and years. I mean, a decade out at a minimum. And so we have plenty of time to figure out. And even if we do have artificial general intelligence, which is, you know, talking to an AI like you or I would, you know, you wouldn't know that it's not that. The ability for that to be fully integrated into our society in such a way that it could cause the kind of problems that he's generating all this drama around is really not on the cards.
And that's why, you know, that brings me to my next question, the most basic of it all. Should we be scared of artificial intelligence?
Not at all. I think, you know, we'll see disruptions. We'll see changes, you know, just like there were changes when the automobile was invented and the horse and buggy, you know, went away. You know, people who made horseshoes for horses had to go off and, you know, get retrained and find new jobs, and they started making cars. And then in the late 1970s, Toyota and other companies used AI to make manufacturing lines more efficient. And so there'll be changes, you know, jobs change, the skills people need to work change. You know, 50 years ago, you didn't have 100 million software developers, right? So we'll see disruptions, we'll see
Right.
changes, we'll see a reorientation of the workforce, but that's a far cry away from evil robot overlords coming after us.
But that's actually one of the dystopian fears. But having said that, let's also refer to the Reuters Ipsos poll that found that number of Americans who foresee adverse outcome from AI is triple the number of, in fact, those who don't, 61% to be precise. Why are such a broad swatch of so many Americans worried about the negative effects of AI?
There are really two pieces, in my opinion, that are represented by that survey. The first is, in the United States right now, it's a pretty negative, environment right now emotionally, and I think there's a lot of fear in a lot of circles, and this is just another thing that people can be afraid of, and there's a lot of hyperbole around it, especially in the media here in the United States. The second is, we don't really know what AI is. I would argue, as someone who's been in the field for 30 years, that what OpenAI is doing right now is not actually artificial intelligence. It's technically machine learning. And so we don't even define terms correctly. And so I feel like that Reuters survey was probably doing a little bit of a disservice by not defining artificial intelligence correctly, because we don't have 350 million computer scientists in the United States. So when you ask hundreds of millions of people who don't know what something is, are they afraid of it? It's very easy for them to be made to be afraid of it.
Right. Let me now end by asking you about what Elon Musk has had to say. He's criticized the ChatGPT maker for turning towards a for-profit model. What's more dangerous, profit motivations of companies like Google or open source information?
Well, that's a great question, and one that we're going to struggle with for a long time. Without open source technology, the internet wouldn't exist and it wouldn't operate today. I go all the way back to working on early parts of the internet, and it was all open source, and that's how it spread all over the world with such speed and such power. And I wouldn't be able to be talking to you right now if it wasn't for open source.
True.
So open source is a key component of our civilization right now. Profit motivations and profit models of companies like Facebook and Google and others are far more dangerous. You look at the social media manipulations that happen in the United States over presidential elections and other political functions. Those have far more of a detrimental impact on civilization.
Right. I think speaking to you has been extremely insightful, and I might change my own views on AI after speaking to you. Sultan, thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me.